This is chapter 5. And this one, of course, is about Naaman. The name should ring bells. Naaman was the captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man, but he was a leper. So here we got this set up, and there's a lot into this. There's, as I was looking into it, some interesting things where I'm not going to go into it, where when they'd raid a village or something, they may take servants and things like that back with them, and that kind of brings the story. But I think a really good depiction of it is the video in Come Follow Me that I mentioned earlier this week. I would go to that and watch it as well, and it really does bring out the scriptures really well in there. But let's just get into this. First of all, who were the Assyrians? The King James Version of the Bible uses Greek word Syrian to refer to the Arameans, or the people of Aram. These were descendants of Shem's son Aram. The Old Testament describes many interactions and conflicts between the Israelites and the Syrians, beginning at the time of Abraham. The ancient nation of Syria was located mostly north of Israel. It was conquered by King David and remained under the Israelite control until the death of King Solomon. The Syrians' language, Aramaic, eventually became the prevailing language in the Holy Land, and was the language of Jesus Christ that Jesus Christ spoke. Syria was later conquered by both the Assyrians and the Romans. And then we're just going to read this a little bit. What were the significant details of Naaman's healing? Naaman was a military leader who was afflicted with leprosy. The term leprosy can refer to a variety of chronic skin diseases. Naaman's specific condition and its severity are not known. This account highlights the faith and humility required for Naaman, a mighty man in valor, to be healed. For example, the servants of low social status, helped guide Naaman to Elisha and encouraged him to follow the prophet's counsel. Additionally, Naaman expected Elisha to heal him directly and immediately, rather than sending a messenger to instruct him to wash 7 times in the muddy Jordan River. Despite his initial resistance, Naaman demonstrated humility and faith in Jehovah by following Elisha's instructions. When he was healed, Naaman declared, "Now I know there is no God in all the earth but Israel." The Savior later used Naaman's example to rebuke his own people for their lack of belief in him. I think that really ties up what we're going to learn today about Naaman. He becomes quite a hero in this story, and because of the things, how he treats his servants, how he treats the people around him, that he's a humble man. You see the humbleness coming through, even when he seems not to be, and we'll get to that. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. I'm pretty sure she's not the only one that they brought away captive, but she was one of them. And she said unto her mistress, Would God that the Lord were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. What this says about the little maid and about Naaman is that she trusts that she can at least say this sort of thing out loud, and she also loves the people she's working for, because why else wouldn't it be more like, yeah, I think he deserves this, if he was horrible? But instead she really loves these people. And one went in and told the Lord, saying, Thus and thus said the maid, that that is the of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. So quite a lot. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have hitherwith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. Can you see a little bit of the confusion with this letter? The king gets in and goes, What? How am I going to recover him from leprosy? And it came to pass the king of Israel had read this letter. He rent his clothes and says, Am I God to kill and make alive, that this man doth send unto me to recover a man of leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. He's thinking politically, they're just trying to get something to make me fight them, so they have an excuse to come up. And it was so when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Notice the words, he shall know there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses, with his chariots, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And notice it didn't say, so you shall know, and you, the king, will know there is God in Israel. He's had his chance, basically. Remember, these kings are not righteous kings. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. Notice he says 7 times. If throughout history, 7 times means something that's perfect, a perfect number, 7 times. In Revelation, they talk about the 7 churches, the 7 other things that are 7, and it always meant something to do with perfection. So he's asking him to do something to make himself whole or perfect again. And Naaman was wroth and went away and said, Behold, I thought he surely would come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. He's picturing something grand, something amazing to happen. He didn't expect that. And some people will come to church or something and expecting some grand thing, and then some people get up and talk, and maybe they don't expect that from a church or something, because it's a different thing. It's not what they would usually expect. Are not Alma and Parfar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the rivers of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned away in rage. He's not very happy about that. And the servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if a prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much greater then when he said unto thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself. Notice he went straight away. And remember, this again shows his humility enough to listen to those that serve him. He's not just saying, I'm such a great person, you guys serve me, don't talk to me, sort of thing. He listens to them. And dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, and all his company came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know there is no God in all the earth, but in Israel. Sometimes things happen that are just, some people will see it happen and it's fine. It just happens. Other times other people will have the same experience and see God in it. And in this case, he sees God in what is happening, but not only does he see God in it, but there's no other God in all the earth. Do you think he's been converted to the faith and believing in this one God? Therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. So he has been healed. He believes. And now he's asking, take a blessing of thy servant. He brought all this gold and raiments and things, and he's willing to pay for it. But remember, Elisha's not doing it because he gets paid. He's not a paid clergy or anything. He is doing it because he's called of the Lord. He doesn't do it for gain. That's priestcraft, and that's not what he's about. But he said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, and he refused. So he says, oh, come on, take it. And to him, that makes sense. He said, I mean, it's probably priceless what he got from the prophet, being able to, have no leprosy. And now he thinks he needs to pay for it, but you don't need to. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burden of earth? So he's saying, surely I'm going to take two things, enough earth that 2 mules have to carry it, and they're going to carry it back with me. For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. He's making a commitment to be a faithful member, basically. In this thing, Lord, pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Naaman. I didn't really read in the right-hand corner there why he took the earth, because some thought that deities were connected with wherever they're from. And so by him taking some of the earth from Israel and taking it back to his house, his place, he could then worship Jehovah and not sacrifice to anything else. In this thing the Lord pardoned thy servant, that when my master come into the house of Rimmon. Now if you look here in the footnotes, Rimmon is a Syrian god of wind, rain, and storm. To worship there, he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon thy servant in this thing. So he's basically saying, I want this earth so that I can worship the true Lord. I don't believe that Rimmon is, but that's probably where he's been worshiping all this time. And the Lord pardon thy servant in this thing. And he said unto them, Go in peace. So he departed from him. So he departed from him a little way. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman and this Syrian in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. Now what's interesting is that Gehazi never was part of the thing. The closest he got was to go outside the door and say exactly what Elisha said for him to say, go tell him to wash. And that is his part in all of this. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from his chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master has sent me. Now that's a right out lie, saying, Behold, even now there come to me from the Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. So he wants to be paid for this. He wants just a little bit, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, and 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their land, and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master, Elisha, and said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, thy servant went no whither. So Elijah says, where did you go? And he said, nowhere. I was here the whole time. He's lying to a prophet now. He's lying to one man, and now he's lying to a prophet. And he said unto him, went not mine heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? He's basically saying, we help somebody out. Is that when you start deciding that you're going to basically rob from him? And the leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. Oops. And he went out from his presence a leper, white as snow. So many things went wrong with Gehazi. He lied. He went after the things that the prophet said not to. He lied again that his master. He lied that his master told him to go and collect that stuff, and then he lied to Elisha as well, as if he can get away with it. I wasn't anywhere near them, that sort of thing. And then he struck with leprosy. This is an important lesson to what we should do about what we should do I lost my train of thought. Basically, we should treat the prophets with the respect they should have. That is what we should get from this. Naaman did it, but his own servant Gehazi didn't. And we'll see you next time.